Chan began to eat the pineapples that Xiaowu had given him, and both the old man and Shiqiji looked at him in surprise as he began to devour the pineapple. He asked Xiaowu to prepare tonight's meal, and if the Empress returned, Chan urged her to invite her to join them for dinner. The old man raised an eyebrow as he was surprised as to how massive the dish of royal herbs was, and his body didn't even burst, he thought to himself, still perplexed as to how his body didn't explode. Xiaowu agreed and said sure. She gazed down sadly, remembering Chan's kindness to the Empress. Do you truly want to do dual cultivation with her? She questioned herself. De Zhuang approached Xiaowu and asked if he could lend her a hand. When Xiaowu didn't respond, she recalled the hairpin, and she kept telling herself that she still had a shot. I must finish refining this black iron today, Chan told himself with a smile. There was a thundercloud outside. The young guy was so taken aback by the thundercloud that he pointed to the ceiling and exclaimed, There's a thundercloud! It's like a terrible disaster, he said in astonishment. The old man's eyes widened in surprise and he said, Seeing that the weapon expert is forging is not only an emperor weapon, but it's also going to be improved, he exclaimed. Shen remained silent as he continued to forge. He exhaled with satisfaction as he finished and realized that it was a success. However, after a minute, Chan spoke out, stating that it is still unacceptable. This black iron is just slightly better than the refined iron, it's barely workable, he said, mildly dismayed. The young guy swore, saying how the hairpin drew a divine disaster but is still scarcely usable? He was perplexed. The old man coughed up blood in horror, thinking about what Chan said just now, and he wondered to himself whether he ever considered their feelings. Chan grumbled something to himself and turned the hairpin, and as he was turning, it began to emit a golden glow. Chan closed his eyes and smiled, adding, Anyway, it's just practice, I'll just be better next time, as he didn't see the aura becoming larger. And the young guy was astounded to see thunderclouds forming and twirling. Could the thundercloud's compulsion have diminished, according to the old man? He inquired, unsure of what had occurred. The young man was stunned, unable to believe that the thundercloud energy had completely disappeared. The old man was astounded that the calamity from the legends had vanished so quickly. Chan turned around and asked them what they're blabbering about. They both promptly answered, It's nothing. Chan gazed at the hairpin and lamented the fact that there was only one piece of black iron. He could have improved everyone's tools otherwise. The old man lifted his hand like a kid and informed Chan that their family had some black iron and that he would fetch it. What's the rush? Chan yelled at him. Dinner has been prepared. Just go out after you eat, he said. But the old man rushed as quickly as he could to retrieve the black iron. The old man would not listen. He ran upon Yi Jinghong, Qin Potion, and Xiaowu, who was shocked when she noticed something in a book. And Yi Jinghong, surprised, said, What the hell? Qin Potion also wanted to know what was going on. The old man didn't say anything, instead he mumbled to himself. Mr. Chan, just wait for me, he murmured. Qin Potion knelt to take the book, and he inquired about its quality. It's not simple to get pornos, he said furiously. Xiaowu attempted to stop him, warning him that if Chan finds out, it would be humiliating. Yi Jinghong reminded Xiaowu that what Qin Potion stated was not without reason, and that even if she is Master's girlfriend, she has not yet become the world's mother, so you must secure your position as soon as possible, he stated. Qin Potion went on to say that she couldn't allow the Empress take her place as he gave her the book. That's why you have to study hard, he said as he opened his cloak to show her the book Xiaowu was holding. If you run out of ideas, I have lots more, he stated. You are already aware of what these books are. Even if you don't, you can tell what they are. Xiaowu shrieked in humiliation and averted her gaze, hiding her eyes. Meanwhile, Chan unlocked the door to let the Empress in. Chan smiled as he greeted her, and the Empress apologized for intruding. Chan reasoned that because the Empress had come to the mountain to evaluate talent, He should take the initiative rather than sit and wait. He then inquired of the Empress about her thoughts on his study room. The Empress looked around, astounded by the calligraphy in many shapes, poems with murderous purpose, and with such a powerful strength. She thought in wonder. She told him it's fine. She then asked if his offer was just to bring her to the study room. Of course not, Chan answered. The Empress's remarkable beauty suggests that she is open-minded. He stated he went on to explain that he is untalented, and would want to seek her advice on international issues. The Empress was fascinated because she was eager to hear what he had to say. Chan got out a box and explained that if his study area were a nation, the 4 walls would symbolize academics, farmers, craftsmen, and merchants. And for our nation to remain indestructible, he added, academics, farmers, craftsmen, and merchants must work together. Chan then explained that the big beam in the center represents the monarch of the kingdom, and the tiny beams alongside it are the civil and milbars ministries. To support and study room, the monarch and ministers must depend on and leverage each other. He pulled out several brushes while saying this. I'm sure the Empress will misinterpret whatever Chan says. In any case, the Empress was taken aback by Chan's analogy. But she was still confused about the roof, so she questioned Chan. Who is the roof? Chan informed her he was going to tell her about it, so he did, explain what the roof was. The Empress was astounded to see that the roof was made up of individuals from all around the globe. Chan withdrew something from his pocket and placed it on the table, which astonished the Empress. Her eyes widened in amazement at what she saw. She was transported to another realm. She was astounded that the 4 walls, beams, and titles, regardless of their status, all have an impact on the quality of the study space. She went on to remark that only by carrying out their individual roles and obligations would the study room no longer be afraid of the wind and rain. She was taken aback by how strong this world was. What does she think? He questioned honestly. Instead of answering him, she questioned him about the windows and how there could be no doors or windows if there were walls, beams, and titles. Chan commended her, saying she's really clever to be able to learn from one another. He then emphasized that if there are no doors or windows, the study room is sealed and all within would perish. And like a nation, if there is no diplomatic conduit, it would vanish sooner or later, he said. She began to level up, and by the time she reached the last martial peak, she was astonished to realize that she had entirely misunderstood. She was astounded because Chan's style of life is based on a balance of stress and relaxation, advancing and withdrawing simultaneously. Chan then advised her to stay for a little while he went to grab a cup of tea. The Empress did not answer because she was immersed in concentration, and Chan was stunned to realize that his remarks had shocked the Empress herself. And he hoped his intellect will soon persuade her. When the time comes, he believes that enormous prosperity is only around the corner. The Empress began to realize that he had not only guided her to govern a country with a few words, but he had also made her break through, the sane real, and she was just one step away, to break through again, and she praised him saying, "You are truly extraordinary." Of course Chan didn't hear this as she was thinking to herself. She spotted something while she was pondering. She saw the hairpin emitting a green aura and thought to herself that it was equally as scary as the Emperor's weapon, the heavenly demon Qin. As she stretched out to touch it, she wondered what sort of terrible object it was. She immediately touched it, and the hairpin began to consume her cultivation. She became concerned when she realized she couldn't get free and that if this persisted, she would be stuck dry. The hairpin triggered, and 2 different colored dragons sprang from it, heading right for her eyes. She then opened her eyes. Both of her eyes had been altered. One was green and the other was a completely other hue. Her garments shifted, and she was astounded to realize how much power was surging through her body. After everything began to settle down, she felt relieved, but she was also surprised to discover that her body was heated. She was taken aback when her magnificent frozen body exploded once her meridians had woken. And then another disaster struck. and Xiaowu was overcome with sadness as she wondered whether Chan and the Empress had already practiced dual cultivation. Qin Potion was shocked, believing she had taken the lead. The old tree's eyes widened in surprise at the discovery of another saint realm. The Empress was outdoors, observing the wind and lightning in the vicinity. The Empress flushed, unable to believe that a simple dragon hairpin could help her awaken her heavenly cold saint body. She reasoned that as long as she passed the holy tribulation, she would be able to break through to the saint world. Chan asked her why her face was so red. The Empress answered modestly that it was nothing and that the weather had only turned a bit warm. She assured him that if nothing else, she would go back to her room to change. Chan was immediately alarmed, and she was in agony, thinking about how the heavenly frozen saint physique makes her body cold on the surface and hot on the inside, and how it has woken her body to be very hot and dry. And he softly took her hand in his, and he pulled her close to him to see what was wrong with her, and the Empress flushed, astonished that her agitated meridian was being restrained. Chan touched her arm and assured her that her body seemed to be okay. He went on to say that it was probably due to stress. Her eyes widened as she realized the holy tribulation was approaching, and she was perplexed that her heart was skipping. She realized that if she didn't deal with the disaster, she'd be reduced to ashes. She took her hand off his and thanked him, assuring him she was leaving right away. But Chan stopped her before she could depart, saying, "Wait, Miss Avenger." The Empress yelled at him, asking him what is it. And the holy tribulation arrived before she could do anything. And it just took 10 seconds before it reached Chen's house. Chan placed the hairpin in her hair, and she was shocked that he is giving her the hairpin. She was astonished to see that the link between her and the holy tribulation had been severed. "This hairpin is known as the Ice and Fire Dragon hairpin," he told her. He informed her that it is black on the exterior but would become golden when it meets its destined person. And then the hairpin became golden, and Chan saw it, and he informed her that since it was supposed to be with her, he would give it to her. The Empress thanked him and told him how much she likes it. He described the jewel as a beauty. He informed her that it's great that she enjoys it, and that she may now go back to her room. "Then I'll go," she replied. Chan smiled and told her good night. "I was able to tease the Empress, hee. She's content with a little teasing," Chan reflected to himself. The Empress smiled as she walked away, clearly pleased. She boldly opened the door, and the saint realm from the legends was no big deal, she reasoned. On the appearance, Chan was happy, but on the inside he was sad that a couple of 100 people on this mountain couldn't even complete this one pear tree. And he thought to himself that if this keeps up, he'll be able to surpass his modest target of 100 million at a young age. Chan yelled for Qin Potion and Sun Wufang to change into their new uniforms as soon as possible. Chan Huang and the other maiden, who were surprised that the Earth Village was going to export agricultural goods for the first time, will be sure to shout the signboard. When Qin Potion and Sun Wufang were changing, the old man was overjoyed that they had a new outfit, and Sun Wufang was overjoyed for his excellent accomplishment. Qin Potion flexed his muscles as he declared his intention to work to quadruple his salary. Qin Potion directed the other workers to relocate, and they did so. Chan groaned, his mind wandering, and the Empress inquired as to why he was sighing. Chan responded by saying that he was merely thinking that the nations of the Shinwu continent are reasonably near to each other, yet doing business is incredibly different. But the items generated by the unnamed peak are excessive, so I had to come up with a solution and decided to create a tradeway to the nations, he stated. The Empress informed him that the empire's momentum had long been split and needed to be reunified. She went on to say that for many years, the Shinwu continent had been partitioned and dominated. Such activity is required during the unification period. Chan was astonished that what he said last night had such an impact on her that she volunteered to assist him. The Empress bowed and informed him that being with him for the previous few days had helped her, but she needed to return for some mundane matters, so I wish you goodbye. Yep, she utterly misinterpreted everything Chan said. Chan was perplexed as to why she was bowing to him, and then departing. The Empress reasoned. If Chan wants me to unify the eastern region, the 3 military commanding locations, then I must do my part. She pondered. Chan's mouth fell in surprise, and he wondered whether she didn't want him to see him off. He just stood there, dumbfounded. While the Emperor was walking, ghost-like clones materialized around her and pleaded. Don't be like that, let me. Come. Allow me to accompany you. The other phantom told the Empress to look at him, and he told her not to be so heartless, the ghost Chan pleaded. The Empress just smiled to herself since she couldn't hear them. While walking home, she happened to see Xiaowu. They both glared at each other when they saw each other. They seemed to be ready for a fight by the way they gazed at each other. Xiaowu asked the Empress as to why she was leaving the unnamed mountain. As Xiaowu said that they might have thrown a goodbye party, she questioned her again why she hadn't notified them sooner. Could it be that you despise our little house because it is unimportant, thus you didn't bother to say goodbye? She inquired aggressively. This was the Empress's first meeting with Xiaowu. Only her cultivation was not repressed by the gigantic array atop the unnamed summit, which indicates Chan sees her differently than the rest, she reasoned. On top of her head, a crimson bar of persuasion emerged. And she reasoned that rather than battling for victory, she could befriend her. She cleared her throat and spoke up, telling Xiaowu that she was aware of her connection with Chan, and that if she is going to mock her only because of that. Don't you think you're very ignorant, she said. On top of Xiaowu's head, a crimson bar of hostility emerged. Xiaowu said aggressively. I am not ignorant. The Empress starts the battle by assaulting her first, and she urges her to think about how an excellent guy like Chan only has one lady. She said that she is just envious, which is quite disappointing. And Xiaowu dodged the blow. Xiaowu responded, saying she shouldn't be going. She went on to say that Chan wished to dual cultivate with her. She asked how she was able to just depart. And she attacked the Empress, and the Empress surrounded herself with a barrier to defend herself. Her Majesty responded, explaining that her attention was only focused on presence, which is why she informed her she was ignorant. She informed her that she and Chan are identical, and that their hearts are everywhere for the 9 continents, and that only after she won the nation would she be worthy of becoming Chan's cultivating partner. She informed her. She launched a massive fireball and Xiaowu was defeated. Xiaowu collapsed, and she wondered whether her thoughts were truly so simple. She lamented. The Empress touched her shoulder, and she was taken aback. The Empress then informed her that she recognized her sincerity to Qin, but if she wanted to become his beloved, she needed to analyze the broader scenario. Xiaowu tried to speak, but Her Majesty cut her off, telling her that instead of battling each other, how about helping Mr. Chan attain 1,000 years of success, she said. And Xiaowu considered if she had overreacted. And all of her hostility was gone, and she smiled, assuring her that she was correct, and that their love will grow. And she assured her that she could depart with her mind at ease. She smiled and added, I did it. She looked aside almost as if she was gazing at us. Several months later, to grab people's attention, someone banged whatever was on the table. He informed the people surrounding them that the Empress had directly participated in the excursion, bringing the 3 eastern countries together as one. He informed them that the 3 dynasties that dominated the eastern area for many years had thus become history. As a result, the Chan dynasty was established. Wait, doesn't it make Chan the emperor of 3 nations? I wonder whether Chan is aware of this. A peasant inquired as to why the Chan dynasty and not the Jiang dynasty were not mentioned. Chan inquired whether he was referring to Jiang Ahan's story. Of course, he has no idea. He became an emperor because he believes this is a story. Xiaowu gazed at Chan, believing that Master was captivated on Jiang Ahan news, and she believed he was this fixated. The guy smiled and assured them that he would talk slowly. He said that the Empress of this generation issued an imperial decree on the day she assumed the throne, requiring the construction of a stone monument and the burning of incense every day to worship throughout the area of the Chan dynasty. And a statue was made, and all the people felt it was weird that the stone statue was not of the empress herself, but of an unknown man. The same old man pointed at Chan and told him and the others that the empress regarded Chan as the supreme emperor. And everyone around him was taken aback, and even Chan himself was taken aback since he had no idea what was going on. If only I had followed the empress down the mountain, Xiaowu lamented. And Chan sobbed because the storytellers would have recognized his name. I still can't believe he believes this is a story. Xiaowu took his hand in hers and informed him that if he didn't like the story, then let's not listen, she stated. She smiled and told him that side seemed lovely, and she recommended that they go have a look, which Chan was surprised to hear. He smiled, thinking to himself that, although he is not able to make accomplishments anymore, knowing that he had a woman at his side and a successful career is enough. Chan responded, informing her that he didn't dislike the guy's story. He was just concerned. Xiaowu warned Chan that the crops on the mountain are ripening too rapidly. The grapes and rice can still be used to make wine, but if the fresh vegetables are not sold, she believes they will rot in the warehouse. Did you forget about me? Xiaowu said, smiling. She said, I have a strange ring. Transportation will not be a problem. Oh yeah? I completely forgot about it. With a smile, Chan remarked. Suddenly, Chan picked her up and told her how wonderful she was. I don't know how to thank you, he added. When Xiaowu saw Chan happy, she was happy too. Chan smiled, flushing slightly as Xiaowu kissed him on the cheek. This is the Qingjing Palace of the Chan dynasty. The empress informed everyone that the Chan dynasty had achieved the approaching unification of the Shinwu continent. She told all high-ranking authorities to listen. The empress informed the patriarch that she had appointed him as the commander of the southern unit, in charge of the growth of the southern area. She created Qin Potion, the general unit, responsible for the northern region's growth. And she appointed Sun Wufang, the prime minister, to assist her in dealing with national problems in order to stabilize the country. Qin Potion lifted his hand and said, Why don't they have the central region directly? Because the central region is the heart of the planet. As long as it is conquered, others will follow suit. The empress responded, saying that with their present power, they would need to prepare for a long period to conquer the central regions. Qin Potion talked eagerly about how they had masters backing and why they should conquer the central region. He instructed them to dispatch the remaining warriors to liberate the trapped opponents, and to strike the iron while it was hot and assault. The empress sprang up, slammed her fist on the throne, and said, You fool! What good are you if you just depend on the expert? She asked fiercely. She questioned him if he hadn't learned his lesson yet. The empress yelled at him to consider the time he arrived at the 3 eastern nations. Do you still want to make the same mistake? She questioned, offended by the old man. Qin Potion froze as he was shocked, recalling how he was defeated twice on the same day, and the empress added that if he's so anxious to develop, it would only harm him. Qin Potion bowed again, reminding her that she was correct and that he needed to be practical in order to solve difficulties for the expert. The empress added, It's good that he understands that he must always be cautious with his words and deeds in the future, understand? She was adamant. She reasoned that no matter how old a fox you are at work, you must meekly surrender when it comes to my hands. She reasoned to herself that if she didn't have the ability to control, she wouldn't be worthy of Chan. The patriarch spoke, stating the Majesty's accomplishments would continue for thousands of years and her name will be remembered forever, and this humble subordinate is prepared to deliver the Azure Dragon Emperor who used to traverse the world to improve her achievement. Qin Potion was surprised and inquired whether what he stated was true. But the patriarch didn't respond as he informed the empress that this location was too tiny for her and respectfully asked her to come outside with her attendants. Very nicely. You are thoughtful, and I will put in a good word for you with the expert, she remarked. and Qin Potion was dumbfounded. The Patriarch showed her a chariot. The Empress informed the Patriarch that she could only see his chariot but not his horses, and she inquired as to why. The Patriarch smiled and informed her that she would soon see a miracle. The chariot began to gleam, and he instructed the Empress that the Saint of Fate should be driven by hundreds of dragons. And he's not sure whether this is worthy of her many accomplishments. The Patriarch was astounded that the imperial chariot of the Azure Dragon Emperor had such an astonishing aura, and 2 dragons arrived. Her Majesty said, "Very good!" And she said excitedly to let this carriage witness her achievement in expanding the territory. The dragon advanced, but it came to a halt as a gateway emerged in front of it. The Empress was perplexed as to what was going on. The Empress wondered whether this person in the Holy Realm was trying to stop her. "Have they come to murder me?" she pondered. The gateway vanished, and Xiaowu arrived, showing that she is the one who made it. And the Empress was astonished and perplexed as to why she was here. She spoke first, wondering why she had come here. "Could Chan have a new task for me?" she pondered. Xiaowu told her she's here to find out where her father is, she said. The Empress happily said that she had selected Yi Jinghong as the commander of the southern unit, who is responsible for aiding the Patriarch and is presently fighting in the south area. "Thank you, Your Majesty, for informing me," Xiaowu responded politely. The Empress inquired why she was being so formal. She explained that she was just a few years her senior, so why couldn't she simply call her elder sister? Xiaowu was quiet for a time before smiling confidently, indicating that she has now genuinely grown from all her fears, and she answered confidently, thanking her for her compassion. "I'm flattered," he remarked. She then approached her and told her that ranking people by age is unacceptable. Xiaowu caressed her chin and proposed that they utilize a first-come, first-served approach. She gave her as an example the count by the length she, as well-known expert. "What do you say, little sister Han?" she joked, smiling. Han or the Empress became tense. When she turned to the side, she noticed that the 2 dragons had vanished, as had much of the power of the imperial vehicle. Chan was stunned as he gazed at the sea and its beauty, and all of his pets were thrilled as they sobbed tears of pleasure that their master had finally recognized them. The expert cleared his voice, preparing to sing, and all of his pets froze, wondering what their master would do. He began to sing, saying, "From the faraway sea, you gradually drifting away, suddenly your vague looks gradually became clear." I want to say something but don't know what, so as he was singing, a blue aura emerged around him. Deshan yelled for assistance. "My brain is about to burst," he cried, and the bird shrieked that his heart would burst. Chan continued to sing, stating, "So I kept it at the bottom of my heart." And Xiaobai wept, claiming his soul was dispersing. He began to float slowly, the water becoming turbulent under him, but he didn't notice as always, and he continued to sing, saying, "I walked to the seaside and watched the tides come in, wasting effort without success, tried to remember every wave." He sung even longer and said, "Wanting to see I love you but was shrouded by wind, abruptly turned around, and you weren't there," and he thought to himself, "Why hasn't Xiaowu returned? I miss you," he muttered. He was pondering and didn't realize he was floating. "How can you not know you're floating, man? This man is ignorant." Chan's voice reached deep under the sea. The mermaid writhed in agony. What kind of heavenly thunder is this? She asked herself. The lovely mermaid told herself that no matter how terrible it was, she had to bear it. This was the Ocean Clan's princess. Oceans will she continued to inspire herself, stating that she must not fail this time's heavenly tribulation for the sake of her people. She was struck by the heavenly tribulation, and she screamed in pain, and the water barrier that was around her began to shatter. "Princess," everyone was worried. The second mermaid questioned God why he was so unjust to the ocean tribe. This one, with his mouth wide in shock, said that the princess is better than the old emperor, but she will die from the pain. She began to give up and thought to herself, "I'm sorry everyone, in the end I still failed," she remarked. and she heard Chan singing. If the sea can call back our past love, then I'll use my life to wait for eternity. And a whirlpool appeared around her. And she was shocked to see it. But she was even more surprised to find the whirlpool sheltering her from the lightning, and she realized that it was assisting her in resisting the thunder. The other mermaid saw something and advised the others to look at how the lightning was being absorbed by the princess. The other was taken aback and inquired if this was the strength of the sea. The other said, Poseidon! He stated that Poseidon was assisting the princess. Immediately after absorbing the lightning, her body began to change, and her legs transformed into human legs. She smiled with delight as she realized she had done it and how amazing it felt. A few mermaids bowed, congratulating the princess for surviving the ordeal. The other said, Your Royal Highness, long live Poseidon! She glanced up and inquired whether they heard the singing. The other mermaid informed her that he had not heard anything, and he then gently inquired as to the kind of song she had heard. She answered, saying she didn't hear well, but she dimly recalled a remark, If the sea can bring back our old love, then I'll use my life to wait for eternity. She informed the other mermaid that even though it was her first time hearing it, her heart felt as warm as the water. She blushed and guessed, saying maybe she is his sweetheart, and so he used his powers of the sea to assist her to overcome the heavenly tribulation. She turned around and swam away, telling her other mermaids that he had rescued her, and she couldn't let him wait forever, so she had to locate him. The fishman begged her to remain. He told her that she was responsible for the rise and fall of the Ocean Clan, and if she left, what would the Ocean Clan do? The princess looked at him and notified all the clan elders that the mystery song had broken the spell. She said with a grin, And they will no longer be resisted by the heavenly Tao, and anybody may be able to break through the saint realm. All of the fishmen and mermaids were astounded that the curse was indeed gone. Many of them couldn't believe the curse had vanished. And someone told them that it had to be the mighty Poseidon who had granted them release from the curse. And many of them thanked Poseidon. Many of the mermaids were so overjoyed that they begged the princess to locate him. And they wished her a safe journey. The princess bid everyone farewell, assuring them that she would. And she swam away. She eventually arrived to the upper pelagic zone of the sea, nearly at her target. She decided to look in front of the beach once she was in the upper pelagic zone. She said not sure if she was right, but she was curious about how he appeared. And she told herself that she could wait since she was thrilled to meet him. When dark purple clouds began to collect in front of her, she was shocked and perplexed. This individual with a skeleton hand spoke up, informing her that he didn't anticipate the Ocean Clan to have someone from the same realm. She inquired as to his identity, and she was wary of him due to the black aura that surrounded him. This is Emojio. Emojio licked his lips, informing her that it seems the world has altered dramatically, creating a new era. He spoke threateningly. The princess was taken aback when she realized this guy belonged to the demon tribe. The demon was irritated when she told him she had quite the insight. The demon yelled, In the name of the Ocean Clan's master, I command you to immediately summon the Ocean Clan's army. Do as I say, he said seriously. Then he struck the princess with his skeletal hand, but she utilized the barrier to defend herself before the demon could reach her. She grinned and raised her hand, adding, Perfect timing! And she informed Emojio that he and the demon clan cursed the Ocean Clan to imprison them for hundreds of years. She spoke, telling him it was time to reciprocate the favor. The demon was surprised that she has the physique from the Ocean Clan, the bright moon. A blue aura encircled her body, and a light on top of her was collecting her strength. The demon cursed, knowing that if he was struck by the light, she would kill him and the whole ocean tribe would perish. He was attacked shortly after speaking those last words. She smiled and warned him that death was approaching, and that he might still refuse to accept it, and threaten her with the ocean tribe. She went on to say that she would wait for it to happen. And the demon disappeared. And he reappeared from behind her, telling her that just because she had a heavenly visit, Does he believe she is unstoppable? Her eyes were wide in shock. When the demon painfully seized the princess's neck, he smirked maliciously. The princess struggled unsuccessfully to withdraw his hand from her neck. The demon expressed regret because she was unaware of the demon clan's corpse change and had mistakenly slain him. She coughed up blood as the monster pulled her back fiercely. She wasn't shocked to learn that the demon clan specializes in unorthodox cultivation. "But don't think you'll get away the second time," she replied fiercely, using another tactic. The demon smirked, and used his own way to inform her that he had already damaged her. With a sinister look on his face, he replied, "What else can she do?" As they collided, both of them unleashed their skills, resulting in a large explosion in the midst. They were clashing with each other all over the place, employing technique after technique, and the princess yelled at him to stop acting powerful since it would just drain his energy. The demon had just assured her it was okay, so let's see who falls first, he added. The princess was then defeated because the demon employed the stronger assault. The princess was thrown into the beach. When Chan was sleeping, he heard them collide and exclaimed, "Why is this noise so loud?" When the princess coughed, the demon pulled out a whip and told her that although the divine body Brilliant Moon is intimidating, she is not worthy of becoming his opponent. The princess was taken aback as the demon pulled out a top-tier, deadly sage weapon. She was aware that the top great sage weapon's power is similar to that of a peak sage. She then questioned the demon as to why he was just accepting it now. The demon answered, saying he wanted to test how powerful the bright moon was. And he did not disappoint her, he said. "It's time to end you," he murmured grimly, his palm filled with dark energy. "Farewell," and he was about to fling the dark energy at the princess and end her swiftly when someone cried, "Wait!" And the monster did come to a complete halt. Chan yelled, questioning if he was really a man. Attacking a lady in broad daylight? Chan was enraged, telling the demon that he didn't care why he was doing it. He wanted to say more, but he was perplexed by what the monster did next. The princess was helpless since the demon had bound her up, and Chan was even angrier at the nasty demon. He yelled at the demon to leave her go, or he wouldn't be kind, as he grabbed up a rock and prepared to hurl it at him. The demon chuckled, reminding him that an immortal who stands up for others is an idiot. Chan cursed, wondering whether he was a martial artist. The princess instructed Chan to go since she didn't need his assistance. As he licked his lips and looked at her, the repulsive devil informed her that he would not let him go. "I'm hoping this monster perishes." As the demon utilized a method to destroy Chan, he yelled that he would convert him into bones, and Chan shielded himself with his arms. The princess yelled at him to stop, telling him that he already had her, and that he has no need to harm an innocent person. The devil said with a grin that being a hero is such. After the attack was done, they discovered Chan to be alright, and he became more enraged than before. The demon was shocked that he was okay, and the princess was relieved. However, after a second, Chan held himself back, sensing that something was about to come out of his mouth. And as he puked some kind of rainbow or something, the demon said, "God damn, how long has it been since you last brushed your teeth? It smells worse than shit," he grumbled. And the devil informed him that he would die since he dared to embarrass him in this way. And he let the rope come directly at him, killing him. Chan smiled and grasped the rope, asking whether this was a martial artist technique. Chan informed him he was frail. "Who does he underestimate?" he inquired. He drew him closer to himself with his whip. The princess was just taken aback by what was going on. He seized the upgrading weapon, which astonished the princess. The demon was taken aback and wondered how it was possible. He informed Chan that he was giving up, but he's foolish, and he asked the senior to have mercy. Chan informed him that he was wondering how a martial artist whip could be so feeble, and that it turned out he was a scam artist as he laughed. The demon's eyes lit up, and he inquired if he wanted to kill him. He launched a surprise attack, and Chan didn't detect it, but the princess pulled him out of the path before it could hit Chan. And Chan cursed, realizing this was a surprise attack. And Chan yelled angrily that he was fleeing, but when he looked at the princess, she coughed up blood, and Chan worriedly inquired if she was alright. Chan snapped and grabbed a larger rock to hurl at him. He informed him that he purported to be a martial artist, and now he's using such cheap techniques, and it irritates him. He muttered as one of his eyes burned with fire, and the rock was coated with his aura. I'm not sure what to say here. It's odd that he didn't feel anything. I mean, one of his eyes is actually on fire, and he didn't notice. Chan yelled at him, "Eat a clam!" And he flung the rock at him with such force that it instantaneously killed him. Chan was stunned that he had murdered him, and he muttered to himself that he had done a sin, and he couldn't even look up at the heavens. When the princess began to fall, he grabbed her and wondered if she had been poisoned. Chan then turns to the side, realizing that he can only assist her with emergency medicine. The princess gradually opened her eyes and realized something. Chan then inquired as to her well-being. The princess thanked him for rescuing her, and then she informed him her name was Ocean Will. She then inquired as to his name. While she was speaking, she reflected on how wonderful the medication that had restored her was. She was thinking this since she had been poisoned and had suffered an internal harm, but what surprised her was how rapidly she healed. Chan responds by informing her that his name is Chan Fan and that he lives on the unnamed peak of Indus Island. He informed her that she had sustained serious injuries and that she should come to his house so that he could treat her. He told her. The princess bowed and informed him that she hoped not to disturb him any longer, but that she still needed to find the singing person who had rescued her. She went on to mention that once she located him, she would personally come to thank him, to which Chan replied, "I see." Chan inquired as to where she intended to search for her savior. He then told her that he had a mount that he could give her. As he searched for his horse, the expert smiled awkwardly and told her it may take some time. Inside Chan's head, he was enraged, cursing, "Damn you, Deshan, where did you run off to?" The princess responds, saying she has no clue and maybe the song could help her discover her savior. She then told him the words, stating, "If the sea can bring back previous love, then I'll use my life to wait for eternity." Chan was taken aback when he realized these were the words from the sea, and he was certain he was the only one on the Shinwa continent who knew the song. Chan cleared his voice and asked whether she had heard anything like this. He began to sing again, saying, "If the sea can call back our past love, then I'll use my life to wait for eternity. And if you no longer call our deep love, then the wind will blow it away." As he sang, the aura appeared again, and the princess had tears welling up in her eyes as she realized Chan was her savior. She sobbed, telling him that he rescued her twice in one day. What can she do to reciprocate the favor? She inquired. Chan smiled at her, assuring her that it was great that he had rescued her without wanting anything in return. Chan proposed that they go to his apartment to heal her injuries and then resume their conversation. The expert heard a buck while chatting to the princess, and he saw Xiao Bai, the bird, and Deshan coming towards him. Chan smacked Xiao Bai on the top of his head when he reached his master. And he asked the three of them where they were, and they only returned now, he said, yelling at them furiously. And Deshan only sweated as the bird was stunned. This surprised the princess that all of his pets are all in the same realm. Chan warned them not to run away the next time, and all of these creatures agreed. When the Empress glanced down, she saw the 9th demon's sage weapon. The princess then asked if she may take the whip. He agreed, informing her that since it isn't his, she can have it. The princess informed Chan that since he is her savior, he is also the savior of the ocean tribe. She then asked him if he wanted to be their king. Chan scratched his head and asked again if she meant the Sea King. Yes. The princess responded, the Sea King. I can't believe this. He believes this is a title. He doesn't even realize he's been offered to be the king of the sea. He then asked if the title Sea King is a good thing. Meanwhile, in the demon clan headquarters, demons sat around a circular table. The third demon spoke, telling the others that the ninth elder soul, talisman, has been shattered, judging from the time he's been killed at the Endless Sea. He said, "This is the elder third demon of the demon clan." He then informed the other devils that he believes the Unending Sea and the East Sea Islands had decimated the Chan dynasty. Furious, the fourth demon informed the others that he would be traveling to the Eastern Zone to revenge the ninth elder. The second demon who grabbed his shoulder stopped him and advised that they all depart since the central region had just been watching. The third demon warned the others not to engage into a fight with the people of the Chan dynasty while searching for the heavenly demon Qin. Except for one, all of the demons understood. However, one of the devils clenched his teeth in rage, wondering aloud, "Isn't the Qin dynasty small?" To prove their lord. Incorrect, the dumb demon will try to kidnap the great emperor. That indicates he'll attempt to abduct Chan. He did, after all, become emperor. It still amazes me that he is the emperor yet has no idea. I'm curious how he'll find out that he is the emperor and potentially the Sea King. Someone arrived in another country or someplace else, and everyone around them gasped in surprise. And the elders who were there bowed, and someone immediately screamed, asking Xiaowu to have mercy, pleading with the saintess to have pity, while the other added that they subject to the great emperor. Xiaowu just told them very good and then went. Xiaoyin spoke while Xiaowu was in the air, informing her that she had finally found her. And Xiaowu was perplexed as to why she had come here. Xiaoyin exhaled in relief and told Xiaowu that she needed her help on figuring a way to gain experts' recognition. Xiaowu smiled and said she understood her emotions and would offer her a tip to get cola, she added. She asked whether it was the substance that would provide her with a magnificent body after drinking? She responded yeah, and she added the master stated it was a drink from Earth, and there was just one bottle remaining. She then informed Xiaoyin that she had sought the advice from the emperor Qin, the old tree, and it has confirmed that Coke Chan talks about is the legendary unicorn's blood. Now this makes no sense. Don't get me wrong. I realize that the author merely fabricated a reason to acquire Coke in this universe. But what does the unicorn's blood have to do with Coke? Anyway, let's keep going. Xiaoyin soared away, assuring her closest friend that she had understood, and that she would go get a unicorn to present to the expert for bloodletting. She expressed gratitude to Xiaowu. Have a pleasant journey, and she told her that she looks forward to hearing from her. Xiaowu said to her friend. She smiled, knowing that Xiaoyin was still working hard. What cause do I have to give up as a girlfriend? She questioned herself. In the airspace of the southern region, an old man informed Yi Jinghong that, unlike the eastern area, the southern region is not desolate. A lone early sage stage dares to make them submit? He inquired and raged. Yi Jinghong did not respond, and another arrogant idiot warned him that if he attacked the southern area, they would make the Chan dynasty history. Yi Jinghong eventually snapped and yelled at them, informing them that the Empress's support had an almighty expert, as he attacked the arrogant idiot with his hoe. And no one can halt the Chan dynasty, the empire ruled by a single man. He said the arrogant idiot deflected the assault by asking whether he was referring to the great emperor. He then inquired if he was worthy of the title of Great Emperor, which is reserved for the Emperor Realm's Powerhouse. Yi Jinghong didn't stop assaulting, and all he said was that he's stupid and narrow-minded. He went on to say that if it hadn't been for Master, he would never have been able to break through to the Saint Realm. The arrogant idiot informed him that they were able to enter the Saint World due to the great chance of heaven and earth, as well as their own talents. What does this have to do with your so-called expert? He queried arrogantly. Yi Jinghong revealed that the last years of the ancient war that injured the skies, the Shenwu continent, were caught off guard by the great Tao, preventing it from entering the final era. And now that the skies and earth have shifted, allowing spiritual energy to grow, it is all due of my shattering the seal of the great Tao repression, which occurred while Chan was singing in the last episode. The arrogant idiot had had enough of being told that no ruler realm Powerhouse could be greater than the rules of heaven. He lifted his sword, preparing to murder him, but first yelled at him, informing him that he was just an early stage. How could he say such nonsense? The pompous idiot inquired whether he still considered himself a martial artist. Yi Jinghong was unable to protect himself when he assaulted him. As a result, he collided with the ground. He started to rise up, but coughed before he could. Yi Jinghong responded to what the conceited idiot stated. He then informed him that it would be impossible if it was someone from the Shinwu continent. However, the expert came from the forbidden place from the legends called Earth, he stated. And for the expert, even a celestial Tao will be nothing more than a game, he said. The bald man chuckles, informing the others that the old man had gone nuts as a result of all the fighting. If that's the case, the arrogant idiot said he'd murder him and go to the eastern area to see this so-called great ruler. At that time, Xiaowu began to ascend from her portal, saying, "Free jumping clowns dare presumptuously talk about expert." They were all idiots, since they didn't see anybody behind them. She gave them a stern stare and informed them that anyone who insulted the expert would perish. She stated it so coldly that it sent shivers down the three idiots' spines. And all three of them were slain as she flew by them at breakneck speed. She flew down to the ground. Yi Jinghong inquired as to why she had come here, speculating that it may be an instruction from the expert. He inquired. Xiaowu answered, saying no, and she explained that she had come here to ask him a question. She then reminded him that, despite their relationship, he offered the Empress the chance to run a country. She then asked why her. Yi Jinghong said that she had expertise leading a nation and that it is logical to delegate the duty to her. Yi Jinghong then told his daughter not to let her emotions get in the way of the expert plan to rule the world. Because your identity is the expert's girlfriend, you must do girlfriend duties. I laughed because he stated it so seriously. Yi Jinghong brought out a book and informed her that it was established by his father during his mission in the Southland area, and that she should take it and study it. Xiaowu accepted the book and thanked her father, saying she understood. After a few seconds, she asked herself, why? Does this feel like déjà vu? Xiaoyin yelled angrily at whatever this beast was. I understand the scary thing about the dark fantasy realm is that you can make identity copies of yourself, and if a person wishes to leave the dark fantasy realm, they must destroy their illusions. You know what? I'm not sure, but I'll simply name this animal a unicorn for now, and the unicorn was so surprised that he had to battle himself that he questioned Xiaoyin if he wouldn't die from exhaustion. Xiaoyin smacked him on the butt and told him to do what she asked. The unicorn yelled demon woman, wondering whether she had just told him to fight himself. She poses another question, what if she pursues him? The unicorn is referring to Xiaoyin's clone. If such happened, Xiaoyin instructed him to just switch. And Xiaoyin avoided the onslaught from the clones. The unicorn bolted from the clone. Both Xiaoyin, the unicorn, and the clones began to oppose each other. The unicorn started to breathe heavily, and he questioned her if she didn't say this so-called expert would rescue her, and why isn't he coming to her aid? He asked mockingly. He then inquired as to why he was not present. Xiaoyin told the unicorn, "Can you be a dignified spiritual beast with some integrity?" But she didn't let him talk, telling him that they couldn't simply sit around waiting for someone to help them. She was irritated with the unicorn. But she began to be concerned, knowing that her lord had always been unconcerned about her. She questioned if he would really rescue her. Suddenly, a wonderful song was heard across the region, and the clone Xiaoyin vanished. And the unicorn was taken aback by the clone's disappearance. Xiaoyin said, "It's impossible," as she noticed that she was being healed. Chan began to sing, saying, "The ladies in the north are stunning, who are exceptionally independent. Taking a look at people's city and its people's country. The city and country are unknown in the Ningxia area. A lovely woman is hard to come by." Xiaoyin was surprised that this was the expert portraying the heavenly demon Qin, and she was even more pleased that the expert really took action. The unicorn was astounded that his injuries had been cured, and he even congratulated Chan on such wonderful music. Xiaoying flushed, pleased that the expert had remembered her. A generation of women, she murmured. The unicorn was astounded to learn that the expert mentioned by the evil woman is real. That's all for now.